buck deep. There's no way this water's 50. There's one right there. Get my morning started. How about that? A little old school bassing. Welcome to Mark Menendez Bass TV. And this one's up early. We are too. A typical day of old school bassing. A spinnerbait, a crankbait, maybe even a buzzbait. We're going largemouth fishing here on Kentucky Lake. Stay tuned.
It wasn't long ago Mark was chasing big smallmouth on windy, rocky points. But today he will focus on shallow water largemouth. He will look for areas near the mouths of major creeks, shallow pockets that have a combination of cover and bait fish. Let's join Mark on his Skeeter boat as he probes the shallows for some pesky greenfish.
Here we are, mid-November. Water temperatures 56, 57, 58 degrees, getting on up to 59 and 60 during the day. And this is old school. This is in the dirt, getting those last fish that haven't moved. You can see the lake is down close to Winter Pool. And these are the fish that live way back up in the creek. They spend their entire lives in water that deep or less. And these fish have pulled out to whatever's comfortable to them. A slight 1 or 2 foot drop next to a stump, a rock, a brush pile, a boat dock. Anything that's in the water is the cover that a largemouth needs to get by. And as you can see, there's hardly anybody out here fishing right now. These fish have not been messed with in a long time. And days like today are days that you can catch an old big largemouth or two back here all by yourself. And it's old school fishing. A spinnerbait, a buzzbait, a crankbait, a square bill, anything like that. Just shallow water fishing, maybe even a little bit of flipping. But we're gonna cover water and see how many bites we can get today on this episode. That's the nuance I have not figured out about the dang bladed jig, is why sometimes they run out there and get it like that one did. How about that? The old blade just quit rolling. Get up in here. Get up in here. Look at there. Got my old cricket right in the top of the head. That's a second bite on 2 casts right there. That's a fat job right there. That's going to end up being a big bass one of these days. A good fish. How about that? All right, I'm going to roll this by that again. I'm going to get another bite right there. Got him. Back to back. Another good little fish right there. Come on up in here, Junior. You got the cricket, didn't you? You got the cricket. That's a nice little old bass right there too. You got that old thunder cricket. How about that? Middle of November, 1.5 feet deep. Not the most giant fish in the world, but a darn nice one any way it goes. It's a 15-inch keeper. Make that cast again. Always, always. If you get a bite on a specific cast, make it again. That was the 3rd cast after I caught the first fish, and I catch a second one. One of the things I like to do after I've gotten a bite or two off something is come back with a different bait. Be it a buzzbait, be it a jig, be it a square bill, whatever. Just give them a different look, because there's probably another fish or two around. I got back-to-back bites off the corner of the transom over there, and then I had another bite out front up here, so for whatever reason, maybe it's the size of this piece of cover, it's holding multiple fish. And we will visit this place again sometime during the day today.
The morning bite didn't take off like Mark expected. It looked promising with cloud cover and bait fish in the area, but the bite didn't pan out. Only one small bass. Mark did, however, catch 2 keepers around a sunken houseboat, almost back to back, with a thunder cricket fishing the shade as the sun started to rise. Mark will move around some more, fishing small pockets with a combination of shade and cover.
Wish there was some brush right through here and we'd be all right. There he is. A little peanut. Old bladed jig. Now look at this little fat dude. Look how fat that little guy is. I mean, he is a butterball. A chunky chunk. Got spots on his back of his head. I had one bited on the cast before that right through there. I mean, we're in 58.7 degree water in 2 feet in middle of November. And we've caught several fish. They've not been giants, but we've caught several fish. There was some bait moving right there. Well, now that the sun's out, should make this easier. Shade is really what I'm targeting. I've got boat docks, I've got brush piles, whatever. It's the shady side of everything that's what's so important. And as the sun gets higher, it's going to position those fish in the shade. The water's warm back here. It's 58.7. It's going to get towards 60 degrees here within a couple hours. So the shade is the main thing if there's nothing hard. But like this dock pole, if I can find that dock pole in the shade, that's the only real cover around a lot of these docks. And in the fall, when everything's bright, the light's golden, the sunlight's golden, that shade is, there's one right there, another fish. Came off that dock pole. Little fish. Cricket is working. The old cricket is working. You can see this little fish is yellow. Kind of got a yellow hint to him. He's back here in this mud, living back here shallow. That's what these fish look like this time of year. There'll be popsicles here in another month, and there'll still be some fish back here even in December and January. I've gotten 3 bites on this little old dock. Just making multiple throws down it. You're almost playing a cat and mouse game. He's under that dock. He feels the bait come out. He comes back out to, investigate that. You make another cast, he moves a little closer, and then the next cast, he's kind of out in the open around the cover, and you roll it by there the third cast, and he can't stand it. So it's a cat and mouse game with him right now. We are in the dirt. We are officially in the dirt. That's how shallow this is. How about that? There's a nice bass. Living shallow. Shallow. Hello. Good fish. Right off the corner, you can see where my catch, you can actually see the dirt where the fish swirled at it. I'm so shallow. Came right down that shaded dock. And right there he is. Good fish. Not a giant, but I tell you what, we're getting several bites. We didn't have these fish that long ago, Kentucky Lake. Now we got lots of them. She's coming back. Now that's a good one. He swallowed it too. That's a good bass, looky there. Tell me they don't live back here in this shallow water. Get on up here. How about that? That's a keeper in anybody's stretch of imagination. Looky there. Look how thick, healthy this fish is. Just big and green. Couldn't stand that cricket eater right there. Perfect. This is the third time today that I've caught a fish in this much water, thrown back, and caught another fish. It's so easy to put that size 10 on that trolling motor and just take off down the bank. Make several casts and you'll be rewarded. Not every time, but a lot of times you'll be rewarded with extra fish, just like that was. That's so elementary when bass fishing.
With the rising sun, Mark has started targeting boat docks. Some anglers love fishing boat docks, and some don't. But it's a pattern that can produce even in the late fall. The bites aren't big ones, but the bass are healthy and mostly keeper size, which is a good sign for Kentucky Lake. Mark's bait of choice right now is the thunder cricket paired with a rage minnow. He's trying to imitate small bait fish and targeting the shade lines of docks. Let's get back to fishing some boat docks.
Right in the shade. Right in the shade. Saw where I skipped that bait, right back there. Now I've changed colors on my thunder cricket because this cove is a lot cleaner, so I went to a blue craw, more bluegill looking deal. But he was right there in the shade, right where they've all been. If we get lucky and get that, have that happen again like we've been doing. Now I can't make my cast. This water's warmer over here. It's 2 degrees warmer than where we've started. Should help it. 59.9, it'll be 60 here in a few minutes. It's amazing. There he is. I hit a piece of brush. That's the third time I hit that piece of brush. Chunky fish, big old long one. I had to change that color. Still, you see how clear they are? They're just kind of ghosted out in this ultra shallow muddy water. There's a piece of brush right there and I hit it 3 times and he finally jumped on it. You know, I've played with lots of different scenarios on a bladed jig, and I've used the Team Lews bladed jig rod, the Signature Series rod. That's a good one. But when I'm needing some accuracy and a little muscle to pull them out of situations, I love this 7.4 KVD rod, just because I can make that wrist roll and just shoot it there. I can flip it in there like a regular hack attack jig, but it's really I can make a good soft presentation with it. And then if I have to skip the bait, I can do the very same thing with it. Soft tip, good butt action, great feel. It's one that I've just gotten really used to and really like. And it's a little longer, 7 foot 4 inches. It just gives me a lot more control over the fish once I get them on. Why did you just bump it with your nose? That's a bite right there. Yep, he just bumped it. He came back and got it. Took me 4 casts to get that fish to come back on it. He got it good too, didn't he? Look at there. That dude is gone. See ya, bye, gone. He bumped it twice. I threw 3 more times and got him on the last cast. That's the way it's been today. You had to repeat. Now it's time to catch another one off of there.
Cricket has been the player once again. Mark has switched over to a bluegill color that has produced some more bites from these healthy young largemouth. Also, a bonus rod and reel. The main pattern is shade, whether on the outside or inside of a boat dock. It's Fishing Boat Docks 101. Mark is moving around marina slips with precision cast and making repeated casts anytime he gets a bite. He will also stop one more time on the flooded houseboat from the morning.
We've returned to the scene of the crime. Caught a couple good ones there this morning. We'll see if I can get another bite off it because that was the first place that I got multiple bites this morning. Want to bite it right down here. Boy, he cranked on it right there. Sit here and make several casts. One tickled my strings there. He just ran out there and got around it, didn't eat it.
After making multiple casts from different angles to the beached houseboat, Mark has decided to move along to another area with more shade and more boat docks.
He all got tattooed up. Look at that. Look at that calico bass. That is a... This is cool. I got to catch him. That's a Holstein variety. Come here. I got you. Would you look at that? Is that not cool? I rolled in there and I saw this black come up and get it, and I thought I had a 6-pounder. He's a darn good one. He's a good 2.5-pounder, but look at the colors on that one. How about that? Very neat. Today was a good day for numbers. We caught a lot of fish today. And the key to today was the profile of the bait. You can see on this tungsten thunder cricket, I've knocked the paint off the nose of him. I've had him going and moving all day long, but it's been this smaller profile, this blade minnow profile. You can see that I cut probably 3/4 of an inch off the front of the blade minnow and shortened that profile even more. The chartreuse and white worked really well in one creek in which the water was a hint dingier, but when I went to the clear water, I went to the old blue crawl that mimicked the bluegill very well. But what I found was with those fish with the bluegill colored bait, they would come out and push it and not eat it as well. I'd have to make repetitious casts to get those fish to bite. But in the shad, dirtier water, where more of the shad were prevalent, this one right here was my best buddy for the day. So I'm gonna put him back in the water. We're gonna catch another one. He ran out there and hit it like a spinnerbait. There we go. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a fabulous day. We've caught a ton of bass, showing that Kentucky Lake is really in good shape. We've got a ton of these coming. It's the middle of November. It's gonna be snowing soon. Goose season's coming in. Deer season's in right now. Hey, don't forget a little thunder cricket action on a cold day like today, and you're gonna catch you a bunch of bass when nobody else is out here. Check us out on the next episode of Mark Menendez Bass TV. We'll take you to some of your favorite fishing locations around Western Kentucky. It's a good one.
Mark Menendez Bass TV is brought to you by Skeeter Boats, Seaguar, Lews, feel the difference, Strike King Lure Company, Power Pole, closed captioning provided by Dying to Fish.